What's up, everybody? Y90Silver here, and this is my first video being posted. And obviously, the name Y90Silver is because I think that this 90% silver is probably the best silver you can you can own. And this is not any kind of financial advice or anything like that. This is just my personal take on it. I haven't been stacking for a while. I've only been stacking since January of this year, 2024. Today is July 20th. And I'm going to tell you why I think that 90%, there's many names for it, 90% constitutional, old money, junk silver. I don't even know why they would ever call it junk silver, but that's the name. But I'm going to share with you why I think that this stuff is the best stuff that you can have. I'm sorry, there's another coin that doesn't belong here, but this stuff, these, 90% pre-64 quarters, dimes. This is the stuff that I love. And why do I love it so much? Because this is the stuff that they don't make anymore. You can go to, rounds, silver rounds, which I also have, and you can get, whatever kind of rounds you want, but they don't have that value. Here's some, some silver rounds, but believe it or not, this stuff is a stuff that is dwindling every year. There's less and less constitutional silver, because when these shops, these coin shops, when they get coins being sold, if they don't have enough quantity, they send them down to get melted, and they melt them for silver value or whatever the values at the time, and then they're gone. There's no more of them. So I think constitutional silver is one of the best silvers you can have. Now, everybody stacks for their own reasons. I know that my reason is I stack silver, which I started this year, and I will never sell it. I don't buy to sell. I don't buy on the upside that if silver hits $50, I'm gonna cash this in for fiat currency. That's not my intention. My intention is that if the dollar crumbles the way it's been crumbling, that at some point between the current fiat currency and whatever new currency is established, there's going to be a gap. I think there's going to be a gap to where we're going to have to make do with what we have. Yesterday was the 19th, and that was a perfect example of what happened when the cyber update, if you want to call it that, took place, and banks were closed, airports were closed, everything came to a halt because the computer system was down, whether it be Microsoft or whatever. And that to me was an eye-opener, because it's just scary that the way that certain countries, maybe this one, and I'm in the US, is heading towards is a central bank currency system, and that's all electronic. That in itself scares me. It scares me because if you want to go to the bank and you want to pull out some money and the computers are down, guess what? You're screwed. You are completely screwed. And that's not where we want to be. We want to be to where we start establishing now where we can barter with our neighbors, neighbors who have farmland, neighbors who have, you know, certain things that are worth bartering for, whether it's, you know, crops and herbs or whatnot. And when it comes down to it, everybody's going to know that this quarter that's 1964 or earlier is going to be worth some money. And I want to give you an example that maybe, because when I started stacking, you know, this year, it was very hard for me to say, okay, so 4 quarters, 1964, this face value is $21, and I'm in my 50s. So, I mean, I wasn't around in 64, but to me, the mental hangover was, how could 4 quarters be worth $21 or $20? That's $5 a quarter. That to me didn't make sense until I started changing my mindset, and I stopped looking at these things as quarters. I started looking at them as silver for what they are. And this is the why we have the premiums that we do, is because this is silver. This is 90% silver. And if you look back, okay, and you think about this for a second. Back in 1964, okay, let's see if I can find the 64 quarter here real quick. Here we go, 64 quarter. Back in 1964, this quarter, gas prices were between 25 and 30 cents a gallon. Okay, so this quarter right here could buy you a gallon of gas back in 1964. So you would think that in 1964, if you put everything else aside, this quarter and this dollar, this paper dollar right here, this could buy you 1 gallon of gas. This could buy you 4 gallons of gas back in 1964, right? So what has happened to this fiat currency in the past 60 years? Well, I don't know about where you live, but where I live right now in North Carolina, a gallon of gas is $4.35. So this won't even buy you a quarter gallon of gas. However, this is worth $5.20. So this silver quarter will buy you a gallon and a quarter of gas. So do you realize what's happened between this and this in 60 years? This has dwindled down to nothing. Okay, and this is worth 5 of these. So when you look at the big picture, and my personal reason as to why I stack, I don't stack to sell. I don't care if silver hits $50. I really don't care. I'm not selling this. I'm keeping this to barter with. Okay, I'm in this for the long term. And if we get to a system that we don't need to barter, then you know what? I'll keep it anyway, and I'll give it to my kids and my grandkids and whatever, and then they can do with it what they want. But it's only going to go up in value. Not only is silver, not only is silver a precious metal, but it's also an industrial metal. And from all the things that I've seen online, there is less and less of a supply opportunity for silver. We're in a deficit. And there are certain channels that I've tuned into in the past year, since January, and I've picked up a lot of insight. And I think that the number one thing that you can buy, if you're starting to stack, and this is not financial advice, again, I'm a newbie, but I do my due diligence and I do my research. And I think that if you are going to stack anything, it would be wise to stack 90% silver. And I stack coins and I stack rounds, and I don't stack any numismatics at all. And the rounds are because if I get them and they're cheap and I get everything on special, whenever it's a deal, that's when I pick it up. I don't care about spending more because of a face or whatever, but if there's a deal, this to me is just a troy ounce of silver. I don't care what the face looks like, because when we get into that situation where we have to trade, the face doesn't mean anything. Whether it's a true troy ounce, that's what matters. I'm selling and I'm bartering in silver, not the face. That's why I don't do the numismatics, and I don't really care. Now, obviously, some things are more noticeable than the others and more familiar. You know, the Buffalo rounds, when they're on special, I pick them up. You know, the Eagles, I pick them up when they're on sale. Anything that looks familiar, I'll pick them up. But Lord, the best thing is for me is the constitutional silver, the 90%. Because this is recognized everywhere. And again, I think it's the best negotiating tool or bartering tool that there is. And I just wanted to share that with you, and especially the part about, some people can't really tell or get in tune with the whole value of this. But when you break it down and you say, hey, this will buy you a gallon of gas and then some, I think that's a game changer. So I hope this was interesting to you. This is my first video of many more to come, hopefully. And stay tuned. And again, I'm just getting started. So if you find it interesting, and again, I'm a newbie myself, so I'm going to share whatever I can. And hopefully it's questions that newbies have. And I think this is a great time to start collecting silver and stacking silver, because it's been stagnant. It's been going horizontal for several years, but now is when there's movement, because now is when I think times are changing. So if it's interesting to you, please hit like, subscribe, keep in touch. It helps the channel. It's going to help the channel tremendously in the future. And again, it doesn't cost anything. Just hit that thumbs up and like. All right. Well, for now, this is Y90 Silver, and I hope you have a great evening, and we'll see you soon. Take care.